Are you considering moving from the New York City area to here in sunny South Florida? Well, if that's the case, this video is for you. We're going to look at some of the aspects such as the cost of living and the financial part that you might want to consider. If this is the first time you are here, please consider hitting that subscribe button over in the corner. While you're at it, ring that little bell. What that'll do is that'll notify you each time I put out a new video. I put out new videos every single Tuesday. What do we talk about? About all things happening here around Palm Beach, all things happening around South Florida, all things real estate. Certainly one of the things you want to consider if you're making the move from New York to Florida is your income. So the average salary in New York, in the tri-state area, is $78,000, and here in Florida as a whole, actually in South Florida as a whole, it's $58,000. So there is a difference. So one of the things that's changed in this year, in 2020, is a lot of jobs have gone remote. So lots of people, I'm finding clients that are coming down from New York into South Florida, a lot of them have jobs that make it so that they can work remotely. So that's one of the biggest factors I am finding. So people that are moving down here, a lot of them are working remotely, and their jobs continue to be from remote locations. So that's one of the big inflows. So just so you know, in recent months, people moving into Florida, to the state of Florida, is 950 people per day. Think about that. 950 people per day are moving to Florida. How much of that is coming to South Florida as opposed to other parts of the state? A large amount. It's somewhere in the area of about 50%. Now there's so much I know what you have to consider when making this move, so I'm likely to title this video Part 1 and take a look at some of the other aspects later, but let me jumble all the cost of living bucket into one. So I'm going to use the example that if someone's making $100,000 in New York, what will it take, what's the equivalent to live here in South Florida? The answer is $78,000. So the cost of living here in South Florida is approximately 22% lower. What they're doing by taking that into account are things such as transportation, housing, your groceries, gasoline, but as a whole, the cost of living in South Florida is 22% lower. Again, $100,000 salary in Florida is the equivalent of $78,000 here in South Florida. So let's break down the aspect of housing. When we're looking at, let's say, a place in the New York metropolitan area versus South Florida, I'm looking at, in this example, the average two-bedroom apartment that you're going to rent either here or there. Well, in Queens, in that area there, I took the area of Queens, Nassau County, and that part, it cost about $2,800 a month to rent. Here in South Florida, and when I'm doing that, I'm taking into account Palm Beach County and Broward County, the rent is just shy of $2,100. So as you can see, when it comes to rentals, the cost of living here in Florida is lower. So here we are at the end of 2020, so let's keep that date in mind. If you look at this video years later, obviously the numbers will change, but let's look at if you're going to purchase a home. So the example I'm going to use the average 3-bedroom, 2-bath home here in South Florida versus an average 3-bed, 2-bath home in the New York City area. Here in South Florida, the average price for that home is $526,000. In the New York City area, that same exact home is $840,000. So think about that. There's a 34% higher prices in New York City, or look at it conversely, 34% lower cost of living in terms of home purchases here in South Florida. So I could speak of myself from personal experience, having moved here from New York 15 years ago, almost going on 16 now. My experience was I was able to sell my home for exactly the same price I purchased here in Florida. So this to that, same numbers, but here's the difference. My home in New York City was about half the size, not in New York City, but the surrounding area of New York, was about half the size of what it is today. So I basically took the same amount of money and I was able to get twice the home living here in South Florida. So as I mentioned, there are a lot of other factors when it comes to considering the cost of living. I've basically did a broad brush of what to expect, but in another video I will break it down into the nitty-gritty, such as the price of eggs, the price of groceries as a whole, price of transportation, the price of gasoline, all things that you want to consider if you're looking at making this move from New York to Florida. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found value in that. If you're considering making that move from the New York City area to here in South Florida, please reach out to me. I have plenty of experience with it. I have lots of people that I've helped make that journey down here south. So if you have any questions, you can also drop a question in the comments section down below. So in a second, you're going to see a couple of things pop up here. Over here, you're going to see a circle with my face on it. If you haven't already subscribed, that is a great way to subscribe to my channel. And over here, you're going to see a video I made recently, well, really about a year ago now. It's called The Cost of Living in Wellington, Florida. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next one.